2 seconds.
We are live. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Wow.
A little Bowie. A little Bowie. No Bowie.
Okay. I'm there.
It's summer. It's hot out.
Yes.
Dang, it is hot out.
Right.
We are back. We are live. For those of you who don't know us, I'm Dennis McGowan. I am a Wreckmaster Level 4 or 5 certified former tower. I work here at HONK in the capacity of Senior Network Manager. Shelly, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Shelly Hawkins, and we're excited to be here tonight. I am the Senior Ambassador for Towing and Roadside at HONK Technologies, so you can pretty much think of me as the advocate for the towers here. And we are excited to be here at HONK Live to talk about all things insurance this evening.
It's been a while since we've had an opportunity to do one of these, but we're happy to be back, first off. So wonderful to see everybody as they start to trickle in. Welcome aboard. For those of you who have never been here, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Our topic tonight is going to be insurance and everything related to tow truck insurance, on-hook, cargo, all that fun stuff. So if you have any questions related to insurance, start dropping them in the chat, and our special guest will be able to answer some of those when we bring him on.
Very, very excited. We've done some traveling, haven't we, Dennis? Since the last time.
Yes, we certainly have.
Yes. In fact, I would say that I saw you too much.
That's one way of putting it. Yes.
Yes. At the end of June, I was like, I don't want to see you for a while.
I was in the same boat. It's fine.
Then you show up on a Zoom. You show up on a Zoom looking like Pancho Villa. You have to talk about this situation with the mustache.
I saw Top Gun. That's what happened.
Okay, fair enough. I saw it too. I loved it. It was fantastic. And here we are today.
I saw Top Gun. I was like, yep, Rooster's cool. Want to do it.
You're Maverick. Let's just say it.
It's Rooster. Rooster has a stash. Maverick doesn't have a stash. Did you even see the movie? Renee, come get her.
No, we saw the movie. It was amazing. I want to watch it again in the theater. We went to Extra. That was the first show. That was in New York. You'll agree with me when I say that it is absolutely coming back to life. It was a beautiful show. We've got so many more people traveling.
Yes, it was great to see some wonderful people there too. Wonderful to see Jeff Paquette, Tow Business Podcast.
For sure.
Great to see him up there in New York. But just generally, the show is really starting to pick up speed again. So shout out to Astra and Bob Gorman and that whole team up there. They're doing some amazing work. Zora, account questions can be directed to joinhonk.com. Check out the support button if you have specific questions about your account, things like that. We're not going to go over that here, but just go ahead and we'll drop a link in there for you to get in touch with us as well.
And then we went to the Michigan Tow Show, spearheaded by our friends Joe Baller and Brent Baker, who did an amazing job putting that all together. What a fantastic show in Frankenmuth, Michigan. That was outstanding.
That was an excellent show.
Yes, I loved it. The turnout was fantastic. They did a great, great job for the state of Michigan. So impressive. Love them. And then
we were in the great state of Texas.
Your state, where I kept asking you, Dennis, have you booked your flight?
What time does your flight arrive?
I live in Texas. I don't need to book a flight. We're good. Yeah. So that was huge. That was a beautiful show in the venue in Dallas. It was great.
Fort Worth, not Dallas. Don't get them confused. You'll make a lot of people angry.
I was checking Dallas earlier today. It wasn't Fort Worth. My apologies. But
it was hot. In case you haven't noticed since you left, it's been just as hot, even hotter. It's currently just shy of 8 p.m. and we are still about 105 degrees. So it's hot here in Texas. So shout out to everybody working out here in this heat. It is it's a scorcher.
It sure is. Columbia, Maryland is not though. Our highs are like in the 80s. So
la-di-da, look at you, fancy 80-degree weather.
Be happy for me. I don't know. What's next on the agenda? We are in pretty quick here.
You are next on the agenda. You are doing most of the upcoming travel. Why don't you tell us what you're doing next?
August is going to be the first week in August. Hey, DTP Wrecker. It is hot in Oklahoma. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. First week is the Indiana Tow Show, and you'll see scrolling across the bottom, towingindiana.com is the website that you can go to. It's going to be in Fair Oaks, Indiana, and spearheaded by the Indiana Towing Association, a fantastic group of people. I'll be doing some speaking, talking about the creative communication in our world of chaos that we talk about in the towing industry, and just all the different layers of communication. that we have to experience as dispatchers and drivers and owners and managers and all those things. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then the very last weekend is going to be the Spokane, Washington Tow Show. And that, of course, is in beautiful Washington State. So that'll be another fun event. That'll be our second year in a row going, Dennis.
Our good friends at TRAW. I unfortunately will not be making either one of those events, but I'm looking forward. I'm hoping there'll be a recording of your presentation in Indiana. I'm really looking forward to seeing that if that exists. And then you can catch me and the rest of the Honk team along with Shelly and just about everybody else September 22nd, 23rd at the American Towman Showplace in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada.
Exactly. That's huge. We're excited. I know you did. It's fine. You can do that. It's okay. Las Vegas is just a beautiful, beautiful show. We go there every year. It's a gigantic turnout. We're looking forward to seeing all you folks. Beautiful.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing our CTTA and ERSCA friends out there as well. That is the California Tow Truck Association event as well. So looking forward to seeing our old friends and hanging out with those guys and catching up there as well.
Angela Roper, we have to mention her. She's going to be out there.
Yes, APTRA and all the other these wonderful organizations. It's amazing to catch up with everybody at these events and really, see and hear what's going on around the industry.
100% agree. So, yeah, we are excited about this insurance time.
So real quick, you grew up mostly in the South, right? Like you're originally from the South. So 100%. Is it insurance or insurance?
Insurance. Yes, it is. How do you say it, Mr. New York?
I say insurance.
Insurance. Well, Andrew is the expert, and soon enough he'll be joining us here from backstage.
Yes, we do have a couple other things we do just need to mention real quick. If you get a chance to check out the Get Hooked podcast, we can throw a link up for that right now. I think we've got Towing Safety with John Golden of Whalen Engineering. Another thing I learned to mispronounce all the time, apparently. Whelan. Dang it, he told us too. I can't.
Whelan. Is your Pancho Villa mustache?
I know. I never get it right. We've got tips and tricks for towing EVs with Chris Young from Parkway Consulting. That was a great episode. Chris is a great friend of ours.
Absolutely.
And we've got Navigating Supply Chain Issues with BA Products and Zips AW Direct. That was a live show that you could catch as well. We've also got a Wreckmaster ESA live show that's floating around there somewhere. So lots of great video content out there. Lots of great audio content. If you're in the truck and want to listen to us and not have to look at us, we can absolutely accommodate that as well.
If you find yourself with a lot of windshield time, go on Spotify or your favorite platform for a podcast and look us up.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and let's bring on our amazing insurance guest. Insurance. I'm just going to keep saying that.
That'll be the first question.
Here comes Andrewminster.
Oh, look at him. There he is.
Coming out from we got you muted, Andrew.
Are you muted?
You're muted.
Go ahead and unmute. This is a Zoom.
This is live. We're live. This is what happens when we're live.
You're left on the bottom. Can you hear us now?
Yes, there you are.
Excellent.
You know.
Hey everybody. Thanks for having me on here. This is great.
Yeah.
HONK, we are our mutual clients. We see a lot of the same faces and names, so it's great to be on here and live and give some insurance knowledge. I don't know, who did I sound more like?
We'll have to ask the crowd for that one.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron, Tow Force in the house. What's up?
Hey, Ron.
Andrew, it looks like you got your first fan, Mr. DTP Wrecker LLC.
Yes, out of Oklahoma.
He mentioned
How you doing?
Perfect.
So we have multiple Andrews here. Actually, it looks like 3, 4, 5. How many would we have in total?
Wow.
Behind you on your board, how many of you actually are there in the room?
Oh.
I was
looking at the comment section.
I was too, Dennis. Seriously.
We got Andrew 1, Andrew 2, Andrew 3, and somewhere inside there's Andrew 4.
Hey, Michelle and Daniel from DCP. Thanks so much for joining us. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Ron, for hopping on. And posting your link to your Vegas roll call. We see that there. Thank you.
So, Andrew, for your for our fans and our followers here that don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself?
Right. So my name's Andrewminster. I'm with Nottingham Insurance. And so Nottingham Insurance is a 100-year-old plus insurance agency.
Cool.
Right. So we're based out of Yardley, Pennsylvania, and Hamilton, New Jersey, 2 locations. We have about 50, a little over 50 employees. And within the auto services division here at Nottingham, which we've kind of formulated and organized better over the last couple of years, we have about 6 personnel, including myself, and looking to grow. So, yeah, so I've been at Nottingham Insurance for the last 9 years. I first started out, I got into the auto service space. I started cold calling every single auto repair, body shop, anything auto service, towing related in my 50-mile radius, and did pretty well there, but realized like I wanted to expand. I wanted to meet new faces. I wanted to, see what life was like in Kentucky or whatever. So, I kind of just put myself out there, started making these crazy videos that I post and whatnot, and just bringing some, knowledge to the industry and value added topics that I think were kind of overlooked, or, maybe other agents didn't really dive into it as deep as I do. Yeah, so that's the past 9 years. Now we have about, I don't know, over 700 customers nationwide, towing related. And yeah, we just have so much fun with it. We really try to service all day long. Yeah.
Well, speaking of South Jersey, we got Rob Long in the house, and speaking of the West Coast, we got Quinn Pining in the house. A lot of famous people joining us.
It is Rob. We need you to comment on Dennis's mustache.
We don't need Rob. We may need to sidebar that. I don't know if we can report those comments.
Absolutely, we can. 100% post whatever you want to, Rob. I give you permission. Quinn, it's great to see you. Can't wait to see you in Vegas here in a couple weeks.
Yes, always a great time in Vegas. It's always an amazing time. It's that Dennis or Howard Stern. Waka waka.
Thank you. I mentioned that earlier. I appreciate that support, Rob. Thank you so much.
So, Andrew, what are some of the basics of towing insurance? How does it differ from regular commercial insurance? How does it differ from auto insurance?
Right. So, tow truck insurance, right? We got the truck that you're insuring. Everybody knows trucks these days are just, all out of whack. The price is extremely high for a brand new truck, even used trucks. So you're covering the actual physical damage of the truck. Okay. Number one. Number two, you're covering the liability on that truck, right? So that truck gets into an accident, causes injuries, property damage. That's the liability limit. Number three, what you're hauling or towing on the back, which could be either on hook or cargo, or some insurance carriers actually include them both in their package, which I can kind of go in a little bit deeper a little bit later. Then you also have, workers' comp for your employees as well. You also have coverage for your yard, general liability for the yard, right? Somebody slips and falls while they're, taking out their, picking up their car, or vandalism to a car you're storing. So that's garage keepers coverage, right? Garage keepers coverage can also apply if you don't have a yard, which I recommend most of my towers get garage keepers insurance, right? So garage keepers covers your care, custody, and control for vehicles in your possession. Even if you don't have a yard, I recommend towers get it, because if you're moving that vehicle when it's not on the hook, right, the garage keepers extends, the on hook does not. Okay. Those are the core, I guess, bullet points of tow truck insurance. I think I forgot general liability too, which is for example, you're doing a tire change, right? And you forget to tighten a bolt, and that vehicle goes down the road, right? And the tire comes off and hits another vehicle. That's also general liability for products and completed operations.
So you've talked about insuring the assets. You've talked about insuring them once they're off the hook and on the property.
Real quick, let's just say hello to Angela real quick. We need to make sure we need to insure her motorized ride at Vegas. So that's not on the table this year. Sounds good, Angela. We love you.
Not need insurance for sure.
And Pablo says,
who is Trooper?
You've never seen Super Troopers?
Like a million years ago when it came out, and I was 3 years old.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I was going for the rooster, but apparently I look like the parva.
No, I love you. I don't know you, but yes, I concur.
Thanks, Pablo.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, Shelley, but wanted to address the elephants in the room.
They're there. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. So you addressed insuring the asset and the liability, and then you also addressed insuring it once it's off the hook and on the property. Where does insuring like the building come in?
Right. So, not all towers have a building, but when they do, we were able to provide building insurance, replacement value for the building, and also their tools and equipment coverage. Now, if they keep their tools and equipment coverage at the physical location itself and it stays there, like let's say you got a towing company that also does auto repair too, they've got a bunch of tools at their shop that we also can cover. Now, if they're bringing their tools, on the road in the truck, that can be thrown on, it's called an inland marine policy, and that's for traveling equipment in layman's terms.
Thank you. I appreciate the clarification. Yeah. And we can get really deep in the weeds, but before we do, Dennis, I did just receive a private message from an individual mentioning that you not only look like, who do we say, Pancho Villa, but also Freddie Mercury. So I had mentioned that earlier in the week, and I'm okay and concur. We love this.
You know what? I can deal with Freddie Mercury. Freddie Mercury was a good looking fella.
Very much so. Yes. Hey Renee, thanks Renee for joining us. Yeah.
This is going to be the mustache episode. This is going to be.
I'm going to say it. I'd love to have a great time. We talk serious because insurance is very much a topic of discussion. And thank you, Andrew, for clarifying all this for you. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, Andrew, one of the things we deal with here is, a lot of our providers are newer to the industry. They're newer ventures.
Yes.
And they have an extremely difficult time getting insurance. Any recommendations for those folks? Any tips, tricks to really break in and not have it break the bank to start a business?
Yeah.
Yes. There's each state kind of there's different carriers that have different appetites for length in business. So each state's kind of different. But what I generally recommend is getting into the business with good credit. Right? Because a lot of the carriers, the new venture carriers up front, they base the quote, a lot of it is based on the owner's credit. So if you can have a higher credit score, right, that gives you an advantage starting your business. And also your driving record, make sure there's nothing on it in the last 3 years. And, really look at insurance, especially tow truck insurance with the market conditions where they're at. Like one claim could really put you out of business. But I recommend like having that threshold, whether it's $2,500, $5,000, little claims take care out of pocket. So have that reserve, right, ready. Just because as a new company, you're already scrutinized for being new, right? And then if you go into year 2 or 3 and you have 2 little claims on your record, well, now you're not going to be eligible for a better carrier. You're going to have to stick with carrier you're with, and good chances they're going to jack your rate up. So, look at the insurance as catastrophic insurance. ways you can save money are, increasing your deductibles, having long-term, like putting dash cams in the vehicle, paying those small little claims out of pocket, taking pictures, just being like really diligent in your, with your truck, with your employees, like all hands on deck for safety.
So I love that you brought
right
up,
off the gate.
yeah, I love that you brought up the dash cam, and I was going to ask the question: when a tower comes to you for insurance and you can show certifications that they've had, trainings that they have, or just much more precautions that they're taking in the business, like cameras all the way around on the truck, how does this play into your underwriting and writing the policies?
Right. So it's definitely a question on the underwriting application where, underwriters want to know, is there a GPS in the trucks? Are there dash cams? Right? Do they have a driving incentive program? Right? So what I recommend to my companies with, lots of drivers is have a driver incentive program. Reward your drivers quarterly, 6 months, annually, right, for safe driving, and create that culture, right? The more information I can present to an underwriter on safety, right, the more justification they have with their pricing. So it's like, how can you make your company come to the top of the pile, right? So an underwriter is like, ooh, right, I want that account because they see all these things that are in place. So that's and certain carriers do have their sorry, I'm just looking at a message. Do have their own discounts, and soon to be, hopefully, we're trying to create some new programs in place, like with Haas Alert. Yes. So we're pressing the gas pedal on that for sure.
Yeah. Shout out to Tom and Devin, who are conspicuously absent from our comments section. I'm a little upset about that right now. But that's how the Hustler's doing some really cool stuff. And if we're able to, is that something we're starting to see carriers give discounts and prorate for these days?
Definitely. There's not, certain carriers don't have like a set discount, but if I pick up the phone, right, and I'm talking to the underwriting manager or underwriter, and I'm like, hey, like these guys got, dash cams in all the trucks. They got GPS. They have Haas Alert. They have a driving incentive program. They send their employees to RecMaster, or they have in-house training, right? All of that goes a long way, especially, for example, I have a company in Ohio. They had a $500,000 loss, right, claim. The carrier was not renewing their policy. And because they didn't have little claims prior to that, right, I was able to find them. Obviously, it was more than what they were paying, but it kept them in business because they had some of those things in place that was like, okay, this was a shock loss, meaning like a once in a lifetime type of claim. So, not only does it give discounts up front, but it can also, like, if something does happen, it can it can dispute a frivolous claim, and it can also, help when trying to get insurance after, a catastrophic claim. I mean, let's face it, things do happen, as much as you can put as much safety and everything in these trucks and programs in place, but your biggest companies do have these accidents, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a nature of the beast. Things get damaged sometimes. It's not even done purposefully or negligently. See you later, Quinn. But yeah, it's not done negligently. Things just do happen sometimes, and we do have to balance those costs. It's just part of the cost of doing business.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's a fact of the industry that we're in. see some people dropping some interesting training data in the comments here. I know Angela said we got free OSHA training, Tim's training. If you guys have any links to any kind of free training, absolutely drop them in there, and we'll go ahead and share them across our platforms.
Or any training, period, paid and free. I want to give
right.
them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, both Recmaster and Erska are friends of this show. I've been through training classes with both agencies. I've been through West Wilburn training classes. So, you know, training is important, and, you know, it's something we preach here all the time, something we talk about constantly. But and, you know, back when I was doing this on a more regular basis in the truck, insurance companies really weren't taking that as, they weren't taking certifications or anything else like that to heart. They really weren't rating you on that. It sounds like things have changed a little bit, though.
Yeah, definitely. They're, you know, with the judicious law system that we live in, right? You know, you're seeing claims getting settled. You know, the reserves on claims going up 100K than what they used to be, or, you know, $1 million lawsuits. So the more, you know, proactive you can be, the better long term, and the stability of your company. You know, something's going to happen over, you know, a 20-year period.
Well, there are some ways to reduce those claims. I know we've talked about it here before, but anything you can offer as far as ways to keep claims down, ways to make sure that your drivers are being safe and doing the best they can to avoid potentially coming in with a claim?
Yes, I think it comes down to the culture of the business, and, you know, from the owner and the top down, right? You know, and then, you know, also taking care of your drivers and your employees. Like the good drivers, take care of them. I know this, you know, with this economy and, you know, the driver shortage, you know, it's hard to find quality workers, but the ones that you do find, you know, pay them a little bit more, have the driving incentive programs, dash cams, GPS. Those are the major things, you know, long term, to keep your insurance rates down. You know, we can't, you know, the truck, because the truck prices are going up, right? Insurance costs is also going up. To replace a truck, you know, a 2020 truck is probably a little bit more when that truck first came out,
Right.
which is it's unbelievable just to think about. So I think really thinking of insurance as catastrophic insurance in this industry, especially, you know, try your best not to let, you know, a little claim get on your record. If somebody wants to go through insurance, because I'm sure that does happen, you know, you might mess up your car a little bit, and they say, oh no, you know, I want to take it to my shop. That's fine. So you notify your insurance carrier, your adjuster, before they stroke a check.
Yeah.
Let them know how much, you know, tell them to reach out to you before they write a check, you know, because maybe you can cover that expense yourself and it won't go on your loss run report.
You know, something that we have seen that's super crucial on the HONK side and in towing in general is just being super proactive prior to loading that vehicle. And then once you take photos, and once you unload it, take photos, just to make sure you have a record of how you have moved that asset. Any comments about that for you guys? How often do you refer back to those photos?
Right. So, you know, I recommend taking photos, as many photos as you can, and find a good way to be organized with those photos. I mean, you're towing, like, you know, I don't know, 10 vehicles a day on, you know, for one truck, but, you know, be diligent and, you know, check those drivers' photos, you know, for loading and unloading, especially.
You know, there's some great software and tools out there for that. It's a good opportunity to shout out our friends over at Towbook. I'm trying to get a sponsorship here, Shelly. I'm trying to get us a sponsorship.
Go for it.
Tom, Dan, Kendall, if you guys are listening, sponsor the show. I will talk about Towbook for hours on end. It's fine.
Yes, we've got a couple people joining us. Tom Parbs, it's great to see you. Ian McGee, we've got another fan of Mr. Andrew here. Thanks for joining us, Ian.
Perfect. Hey, Ian. Hey, Tom.
We don't have to shout out. We just mentioned Tom Parps. He's here now. Now we don't need to talk about him anymore. You missed your spot, Tom.
He gave me some hearts. I felt I felt the need.
He missed his opportunity. He missed his opportunity to come on and talk about Hustler. We'll have to have a different episode now.
We've only mentioned Haas a few times. Thanks for joining us. That's fine.
But funny dash cam story. I'm not going to go into too much detail here because
we want you to go into detail.
I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But I was working for a company for quite a few years, and at one point we finally decided, okay, let's put cameras in the trucks. We're trying to cut down on claims. We're trying to make sure our equipment's protected, just like Andrew mentioned. And the cameras were not installed in the trucks. They weren't even in a full week, and we had an accident happen. One of our drivers rear-ended a car on the exit ramp of an expressway coming down in New York, coming down to like a red light, stop and go exit, and rear-ended a car. And so right away it was, she pulled out in front of me. I had to slam on the brakes. I don't know what happened. I couldn't slow down in time. Okay, no problem. Let's check the tape. And immediately the first thing you saw when you looked at the camera was the driver just doing one of these. Just driving along, looking at his phone,
Distracted driving.
Yep.
So I also to that point, I recommend companies establish a distracted driving policy, right? So before you even hire them, make them sign off on, they're not going to be texting while driving. I mean, it's hard not to be totally distracted, but, at least using a handheld device, right? Texting, like that's like a huge no-no. And then to your point about dash cams, from a claims perspective, we had a fatality and a guy was in the middle of the road. It was a homeless guy. I think he was intoxicated, and, the truck also had telematics, right? And they were going the speed limit and everything. And this guy just was in the middle of the road. The guy got ran over. Unfortunately, he didn't live. But, a year or two later, we get, an attorney notice. And now we have footage. And because he had telematics, they were able to track he was going the speed limit. This guy was not in a crosswalk, right? So because of all those, things that this company had in place, they're able to really dispute this claim. It's unfortunately this guy died, but he really should not have been where he was. So.
Yeah. So we get real quick, Dennis, we get asked this question a lot. I'm going to ask it. When someone's going into the towing business, they're brand new. They have a simple business model of, let's say, 2 tow trucks, and they don't have a storage yard. Is there any way for you to say, the average cost for towing insurance for a company like that would be X, Y, Z? Any thoughts or comments?
Right. That's a great question. And I get that asked a lot. Hey, I'm looking to get a quote on my 2006 Ford F450. And I'm like, okay, where's your location? How's your driving record? What city are you in? What's the value of the truck? And so to answer your question is rates fluctuate all over the place. I'm working on, I don't know, a 10 truck account in Maine, right? Mm-hmm. And that, might be, I don't know, 40 grand for the year. Okay. Right. 10 truck, maybe he's got 2 yards. Okay. And that same account in Orlando, Florida, might be 180,000 or 170,000 or 200 grand. So rates fluctuate based on, the states, how the laws that govern the state, that can, highly congested areas, the 5 boroughs is just rates are crazy there. But at the same time, the flip side is, there's probably a lot more work there to be able to afford that insurance. So going back to that new company with 2 trucks, let's hope the owner has prior experience, good credit. They're going to hire some good drivers.
Mhm.
Another thing that I see is we see sometimes like a guy owns a used car lot or he owns a body shop, and he might not have the tow trucks. Well, his history,
Yes.
it counts as experience, because he's in that industry. So some people think like they're gonna have to go like with a new venture company, but a lot of the times we can position them because they have experience in the industry. Um, at least they should have towing experience.
But that's all about having the right person working for you too. It's not, and
Exactly.
from my experience, not everybody has been able to do that in this industry. Not every insurance company is really looking to go that extra mile, especially in this industry where it is such a risk.
Yep. And another thing that we're with the driver shortages is a lot of company guidelines are 21 years of age, right? I've probably ran into it a few times this week, right? Owner son is 18 and now wants to, he's off from school. He wants to drive a truck. Well, we can't add him to the policy. And it's based on, on statistical data from the actuaries who come up with the rates and come up with everything. Ultimately comes down to an 18-year-old is, not responsible and doesn't have enough experience behind the wheel to, um, justify them being able to add them.
Yeah, and that's difficult considering the constraints that we're under as far as driver shortages, and it reduces the pool of potential drivers because now you have folks that are 18, 19. They're going to move into other industries now, and by the time they get to that age of 21 where the insurance companies are going to allow them, they may have moved on to bigger and better things in other types of industries. Got a great question coming in from YouTube. Shelly, you want to take that while I choke?
All right, I do. I want to also mention that we've got another fan, Mr. Alexander Rodriguez. What's up, Andrew? He's saying hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Joining us. So, question came in from our friend Jay Rodia. Why is credit a matter of like a factor when you are writing the policy? Why does credit come into the play?
Right. So for a lot of new companies, the insurance carriers rate, a lot of the rate comes from credit, and they look at it as like a person with better credit, right, is going to be more responsible and take care of their truck. It's just that it's the data that the mathematicians or actuaries come up with, right?
It's you are looking for a pattern or different ways to trust this individual, an individual who you have no idea who they are, coming to you saying, hey, I need you to insure my company, my assets, and everything, and you've never seen them before. What's out there right now for you to be able to insure them? There is the credit rating to show the responsibility of, and they pay their bills, and then also the background checks to say, what is their history behind the wheel, and do you have anything on their record? Those are the top two that I think of.
Right, yeah. And then once you get out of that 1 year, 2 year new venture status, depending on your state, right, then the next set of carriers, they don't actually pull your credit because they can see your history, and it's mostly rated based on your territory, your trucks, your equipment, etc.
So Pablo's got a good question. How do you prove towing experience?
So a resume, or for example, we had a company. A guy was the operations manager for 12 years. Owner was about to retire. Right, he's purchasing that company. So it's under different ownership. He's going to need a new insurance policy. Right, so we were able to go to another carrier, and he typed up a summary about him, about himself and what he's done over the last 12 years, and we were able to position him to the marketplace as not a new venture. So yeah, I mean, a resume or just data or references.
And to Pablo's point, certifications help too, and we discussed that a little bit earlier. But having those certifications and having those, hey, I took a class in 2012, which means I've been doing it at least as long as that. It's a good thing to have. We got just a couple minutes left. If anybody's got some additional questions here, feel free to throw them in the chat before we start to wrap up here. But Andrew, for our folks that are looking for insurance, looking to shop their insurance, whatever else we have, we've got some information there. But what's the best way to contact you? I've got some stuff on the screen. We'll throw some stuff in the comments. But let's tell them.
Yeah. So people can reach out to me directly on my cell phone. Text me, call me, DM me on Facebook, Instagram. We like to say we're available 24/7. We're dealing with the East Coast and the West Coast. So right now we're in growth stage, trying to handle incoming business as well. With okay, got it. You just shared all my contact. Cool. Yeah, really just reach out to me. Like I mostly work from home, on the weekends. Sometimes I'm going over applications. I really like to hop on things right away, especially when somebody gives me the time. And all I ask is get me the information I'm requesting, spend 10, 15 minutes with me. Let me learn about your business. Let's find that common ground. Ultimately, anybody in the towing industry needs, an insurance agent. So, we're here.
And you cover all 50 states?
Except Alaska and Hawaii.
Okay, so lower 48, as they say.
Yep.
All right. So if you're,
and we do have some new programs coming out, especially in New York. So stay tuned to that.
Cool. We'll be looking forward to that as well. Yeah. If you're looking for insurance, if your insurance is up, reach out to Andrew, give him a call, text him, shoot him a message. Even if he can't help you, he can at least put you on the right track for, what can help you in the future. I think it's a great conversation to have, and you should always be shopping your insurance every year or so to making sure you have the best rates.
Except when you're with me.
Yeah, no. If you're with Andrew, don't shop it. It's fine. But if you're with anybody else, shop it every 6 months.
Right. Yeah. So one of the things, and I'll just end on this note, is I think what separates us is, I'm friendly with some other agents out there. There's not in the insurance industry, there's not one agent that's going to have every single market. And I recognize that. So, in-house, if I can't help you, I'm going to connect you with a partner agent. And I think that's sort of what separates us from the rest is I'm open to find a better solution if I don't have it in-house.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So once again, reach out to Andrew over at Nottingham. We've got his contact information all over the place. If you can't get in touch with him by this point, that's on you. We've shared, and we'll share this again on social media, and we'll share it a few different places as well. Do you have any upcoming events? Are you going to be in any of these upcoming shows?
So not for the well, actually, it depends. My wife is pregnant and due in November, so.
Hopefully it's not the week of Baltimore, because you don't want to have to juggle kids' birthdays and Baltimore Tow Show every year for the rest of your life.
Oh yeah. So it's a Thanksgiving baby. But yeah, I'm trying to coordinate that. We will have a booth there. I'll have some staff there. I might make a little appearance here and there, but we're I'm looking forward to the second half of the year.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you, Andrew, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You can catch Shelly August 4th through 6th at the Indiana Towing Association at the Women's Luncheon in Fair Oaks, Indiana. You can also catch her August 26, 27 at the Pacific Northwest Tow Show in Spokane, Washington. And you can catch the rest of the Honk crew, Shelly, myself, and everybody else, September 22nd, 23rd at American Towman Showplace in Las Vegas. You can find Andrew over at NottinghamInsurance.com.
That's right.
And you can also check out the Get Hooked podcast. You can go to honkforhelp.com/explore/get-hooked. We have got to shorten that URL. My goodness, I can't read that out every time.
Yes, we
What do I look like? And you can follow all of our social media at honk4help.com. To all of our honk partners, thank you for your continued support. We appreciate every single one of you. And if you're not a honk partner yet, and that means you're missing out on tons of additional towing and roadside jobs in your area, head on over to joinhonk.com and get signed up today.
And get your insurance here.
Exactly.
One-stop shop. We'll get you onboarded, we'll get you insured, and you'll be up and running.
Yeah.
Thank
Say
you.
goodbye to all the Andrews.
Goodbye, Andrews.
Bye, all the Andrews. Thanks,
Have a
everybody.
good night, everybody.
We'll be back next month with another live show. I was going to say Get Hooked, wrong show.
You know what you're talking about, Pancho.